Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we are talking about one of the last of a dying breed of ships in this game, and that is the Agir, with the dying breed of ships being free XP ships. Agir is one of the last free XP ships introduced in this game to date. Would it surprise me if Wargaming in whatever dev blog this week announces a free XP ship being released? Absolutely, but hey, it can happen. But I'm also saying we haven't gotten a new one since the Hayate, which is, I believe, the next one that came out after the Agir. So Agir was introduced all the way back in 9.5, and we're almost 2 full patch cycles away from that now, and sold in the premium shop, but also in the tech tree for 1 million free XP, which 1 million free XP is not a very tall grind today, especially with all the boosters that we have. Well, currently the economy rework is just around the corner, but still, even with that change coming, it still shouldn't be a tall order to get 1 million free XP. But anyway, the Agir isn't a real still historical ship. It is a design, though. It's one of the O-class designs, along with her sister Siegfried, which is also in the game, but in the research bureau. So if you don't want to log in every day, play enough to get your 3 containers worth of coal, or partake in ranked or any other event to get coal, this is a pretty good option for you, because again, she's 1 million free XP, which you get by simply playing the game. You earn it in every mode, except for like training battles. And again, with all the boosters that we have today, it's not really a tall order for your average Joe to easily get 1 million free XP, and I'd say about 3 weeks, a month, definitely much faster than getting a coal ship. Again, depending upon what levels of boosters you're running and what game modes you are playing. But is Agir even worth that time in the first place in today's World of Warships? And that's what we're taking a look at here today. So again, a little bit more background on the Agir. This ship went through dev hell when she was announced. She was originally supposed to be a secondary cruiser, but apparently her secondaries are a little bit too good. So those secondaries were nerfed, and then Siegfried, which has less secondary guns, were given the parameters of Agir's secondary guns. And again, like I've mentioned plenty of times on this channel, Siegfried was robbed of her secondaries in the Commander rework. Wargaming, please give back. And we have not gotten any change to it since then. But anyway, so secondaries are definitely not the main focus of this ship. But let's go ahead and take a look at her today and talk about how she does in modern World of Warships. Alright, so taking a look at her armor. She has a 27mm bow, which is a giant middle finger to 381mm battleship guns. Her upper belt is 90mm, which is ridiculously thick for an upper belt armor on a cruiser. This is a good and bad thing. Good because nothing can overmatch this, even the super ships, the super battleships, the Hanover and the Satsuma, they cannot overmatch this, if you're angled properly, of course. But if you do show a little bit too much side and those shells can bite, you best believe everything is going to arm on this 90mm plate. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but if you pay attention to your angling, stay steeply angled, everything's going to bounce off of your belt. Everything. It's wonderful. The stern is also 27 as well. Again, nice middle finger to 381mm guns. And then the stern deck is 27. Mid deck is 30mm. And bow deck is also 27 as well. Strip away her armor, and she does have a turtleback, although it's not a very steep turtleback, so it's there, but I mean, for a cruiser it's pretty good. If you're looking at a battleship, of course, it's not great, but again, for a cruiser it's pretty nice. The main belt is 190mm thick, and then once you get past the turtleback, her citadel sides are 45mm, and then 60mm on the torpedo protection. Alright, so speaking of survivability, she has 62,850 hit points. Nice healthy amount of hit points here for a cruiser. And then a 37% torpedo damage reduction for some reason. Apparently the Germans can make their cruisers nigh impenetrable to torpedoes, but for the Grosser Kurfürst and the Preußen, best we gets like, I think it's 22% torpedo damage reduction. That's pretty nutty, but okay, I'll gladly take it. And now we come to her guns. She gets 9 305mm guns, same caliber as the Odin, Mecklenburg, and several other German ships now. And these guns with the build that I have on her, and I'll throw that up here again for you. They have a 17.6 second reload time, that is with the reload module. They 180 in 28.7 seconds. Maximum spurs 189 meters, and a maximum range of 18.5 kilometers as well. Her HE is absolutely just miserable. It's incredibly lethargic. 3,600 maximum damage on her HE shells, and a 27% chance of causing a fire on these shells as well. And they can pin to 76mm of armor. They come out the tubes at 865 meters a second. Her AP is a bit better, well, actually tremendously better when compared to her HE. With the again with the skill on the commander skill, the heavy AP. This brings the damage of the AP up to 9,555. That's a lot of fives, which is pretty good. That's a nice alpha to have. It's, you know, compared to some of the other AP, some of the super cruisers, like you have the Alaska that gets the improved AP pin angles, and then like the Stalingrad with the Stalingrad shells. Of course, it's not that good, but it's pretty decent, especially coupled with the good reload time and the improved accuracy. If you're looking at like something like the Odin, how Odin's guns are definitely not that accurate. These guns are much more accurate. You'll actually be able to land shells on target, and these AP shells do certainly hurt, especially other cruisers that aren't paying attention and show you a little bit too much skin. You get pretty decent alpha here. Again, couple that with the reload time and the accuracy. It's a pretty nice set of guns. Is it the best cruiser set of super cruiser set of guns or large cruiser set of guns? No, but they will definitely get the job done. Now, going on down to her torpedoes, she does get torpedoes, 2x4 533s. Again, standard German torpedoes for anything that's not a destroyer, like the Tirpitz. Basically, they bolt it onto the hull, and this is the torpedoes they seem to use for everything. 6 kilometer range, 13,700 maximum damage, reloads in 90 seconds. Alright. Her AA is not great. She has an A rating of 84. She does have 20 millimeter guns. That's the language there. And then she gets 18 of these 55 millimeter guns. And then her 128 millimeter secondaries do count as AA. I didn't mention them in the artillery section because, again, since the commander rework, you can't really do anything with these secondaries anyway, so it's not really worth mentioning. Maneuverability of the ship is fairly quick at 35.2 knots with the speed flag equipped. The ship turns in a 880 meter turning circle, and she has a rudder shift time of 14 seconds. And her concealment with both the module and the commander skill goes down to 11.9 kilometers, which is pretty decent. I mean, by cruiser standards, that's ish, that's pretty decent. By almost battleship standards, that's pretty darn good. With the Siegfried 2, you used to be able to get her concealment at the same range as her secondaries, but again, you can't do that anymore because that's not a thing, unfortunately. Ouija, please fix. And on to her consumables. She gets heal, and then hydroacoustic search, and then damage con. That's it. For the heal, it repairs 377 hit points per second. It's active for 28 seconds, reloads in 76 seconds. 4 charges of that with Superintendent. Hydroacoustic search, it goes out to 6 kilometers. It is active for 120 seconds, reloads for 114 seconds. And for her damage con, is active for 5 seconds and reloads in 57 seconds. So the Agir today, what the Agir was very good at back in the day was getting in decently close, not in anyone's teeth, but with that 90mm upper belt and with the decent protection over her citadel. And can she still do that today? Well, like I mentioned in yesterday's video talking about the Kronstadt, so much of high tier matches now are just sit in the back, take pot shots at the enemy team, and wait for something to happen. Thankfully, with the reload time of the Agir, even if you do take the range module, the guns are accurate enough to where you can land shells on target at range, and it is German AP, so you have that going for you as well. But there are cases where, in many a time, I'm just like, well, I'm gonna try to do something, maybe go cap something or I don't know, maybe go spot because everyone's sitting back at 20 kilometers. But thankfully the ship is still stealthy enough. If there's not a CV in the match or the CV is ignoring you, you can typically get within your main battery's firing range, and also with that good concealment with a full build on it, you will be able to dictate the terms of your engagement and be able to dip out if you don't like the situation that you are in. And you have the hydroacoustic search too, so if anyone does try to get a little sneaky deaky on you, you do have that going. That only gives them a 6-kilometer buffer zone between your hydro and the edge of your detection, so you have that going for you as well. That being said, when you do get into the close-in situations in the Agir, she is quite good. The Torpedoes are, of course, a giant ace up your sleeve, a nice equalizer if you get into a close-in engagement with a battleship or any other cruiser or something that's not going so well for you. The torpedo angles aren't great, however, nor are the main battery gun angles. Of course, it's a German ship. Those aren't allowed to have good gun angles. But again, with the 90mm upper belt, you'll be able to angle to just about, again, anything coming in at you, as long as you're paying attention to the ships that are paying attention to you. And be mindful of, hey, are they aiming at me? Is he firing? Well, okay, I need to get as steeply angled as I possibly can. And plus, with the 27mm bow, you do shove a giant middle finger at 127mm guns, and yeah, even with IFHE, those aren't going through your bow. So this ship is pretty darn tanky, again, until something with bigger guns show up. But again, for a cruiser, this is an incredibly tanky cruiser if played properly. And the way I normally play her now is I play her, well, kind of as just a running around at mid-range cruiser. Don't really want to get stuck in one spot. Don't really want to sit still. You do have a 30mm deck, so be mindful of that. But running around, making sure that I'm staying angled as much as I can to the ships that are shooting at me, and you will find yourself bouncing a lot of shells and easily racking in 2 or 3 million potential damage in some crazier matches. And considering the ship is a free XP ship and you don't have to spend any money on it, if you don't want to, you can buy it outright in the armory for $70, but why when it's a million free XP? And again, you just spend 2 weeks grinding that out, you can have the ship completely for free. I would say it's a pretty darn decent ship. Is it the best super cruiser out there? No. Is it one of the worst? I absolutely do not think so. She's pretty darn decent. Again, especially considering she is a 1 million free XP ship. So yeah, and considering we don't know how much longer she's going to become available, of course they haven't said she's being removed. I don't think they're going to remove her or any of the current free XP ships for some time, but considering again that they seem to be moving away from these free XP ships, I would definitely try to pick this up for free XP while she is still available. So anyway guys, hope you guys enjoyed that look back at the Agir. If you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 40,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're all having a wonderful Wednesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.